go.
Ride with the mob.
Yep.
Alhamdulillah.
Yep.
Check in with me.
Yep.
And do your job.
Yep.
Berg is the name.
Okay.
Roller did the chain. Tono for the watch. Prezi plain Jane.
Let's go.
Yamagini chain. Rest in peace to my superior. Hermes link up
That's
in the
some
village
sick
in Liberia.
song.
TMZ taking
Alright.
pictures causing my hysteria. Mama see me on BT and start
Alright, I'm just
carrying.
driving beside the park at one gentle corner so that we can have a quick chat. Let's bring this down a bit. Yeah, so we can have a quick chat about what's going on in Liverpool. The recent acquisition, you're all familiar with it now, Virgil van Dyke to Liverpool for 75 million, 70 million going up to 75 based on performances, which is a great acquisition for Liverpool, man. I think that's fantastic. I think it's also a statement of intent by the owners. It's a huge amount of money, but by the time I finish this conversation, I'll try and prove why it's worth every single penny. Wow, Liverpool have bought Virgil van Dijk. That's a huge statement, you know, for Liverpool to say they have the most expensive defender in world football. You know, that's a huge statement. You know, we've always heard the likes of Chelsea, Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and all that, you know, and PSG, you know, buy really expensive. But to say Liverpool have got the most expensive defender in the world, you know, that is a serious statement. To be fair, that comes with a lot of pressure also. So people would expect a lot from Virgil van Dijk. The boy's talented. He's got everything to be a world-class player. Everything, every potential. He's got the height, he's got the speed, he's got the leadership quality, he's got the composure, the calmness of mind, the age is on his side. So he's just got everything. A 6'4" human being that knows how to play football, that knows how to dribble, he knows how to pass, he knows how to tackle, he's got pace, you know. I mean, that's just brilliant, you know. But then what I think, right, Virgil van Dijk brings to this team is beyond his own personal qualities. Let's break it down. First and foremost, Virgil van Dijk has got people know about him. You know, people know he's a hard man. He's a hard defender. So if you add someone that is worldwide recognized as a very good hard defender, that automatically works on their psychology, you know. So they mentally believe Liverpool's defense is much harder right now with this new acquisition. So let's be more cautious with the way we play around their defense. For me, one thing I always also look at is how it affects Liverpool's training. Now, Virgil van Dijk is a very good defender. One thing I will say is his presence will make the likes of Lovren, Matip, and even Klavan step up their game. You know, one, because they want to continue to be in the team. Two, because when they see the way he defends and the way he leads, what he tells them, how he tells people to go back to their position and keep their focus, it will rub off on these players, and they will then start to imbibe those qualities themselves. And you'll see that they will now start being leaders themselves. They will have expectations, you know, and that is very invaluable in terms of what Virgil van Dijk will bring to the team. The second thing is, when you're playing in training, right, with a defense line that is not really that good, right, you might perform very well in training, but you will then suffer in real matches because you are then coming face to face with defenders that are much better than yours and much better than the opposition you train with. Right? Now, if you've got a defense line that is very robust, very solid, and these are the people you train against every day, you will see that the attacking part of the team will then have to raise their game to be able to perform well against the defenders. So potentially this attack that we've got, which is almost excellent in its own way, will still get better because they will now learn how to score and how to perform against defenses that are as hard as a defense line of, for example, Matip and Virgil van Dyke. So that helps also our attacking because it helps us deal with quality defenders, which will be very, very valuable when we get to the when we play in Champions Leagues against teams that have got solid defenses. So that's another thing he brings. Yet another thing that Virgil van Dijk brings to the squad is this is a player that we know has got the ability to actually be very dangerous in set pieces. He scores a lot of corner kicks, headers from corner kicks. He's got a very high expectation of himself. So when we see that happening a lot, you will see the likes of Matip, likes of Klavan, then also challenging themselves, to contribute to the goals, and that's also another great thing that he brings to the team. I've got a couple of other things in mind I was thinking about today, which is literally just gone off my head, but oh yeah, the other thing we have to think about is we now have a very solid defense line. Matip is honestly a very, very good defender. A lot of times, the reason why things get all mixed up is because he doesn't really communicate well with Klavan or with Lovren. Now, if he's got someone that is as good as him in defense, who communicates, you will then see Matip flourish. So imagine us having a centre-back pairing of Matip and Virgil van Dijk, with probably Gomez on the right and Moreno or Robertson on the left. That is a solid defense. One thing that just crossed my mind now is that might even allow Lovren to test his defense midfield skills. He's played as a defensive midfielder in the past. So imagine someone like Lovren now playing as a defensive midfielder ahead of Matip and VVD. That is the defense dreams are made of. So that is something else that we could now consider while having Virgil van Dijk in the team. Think about it. Then the other thing is, you can imagine Virgil van Dijk, Matip, being probably one of the best defense pairings in world football right now, right? However, what we have paid for both of them is 75 million. Now, if we think about our defense from that perspective, Matip being a free acquisition, VVD being 75 million, so we've spent 75 million on two players. Or we've spent 75 million and we have two solid defenders. Now, what that adds up to is less than 35 million. Okay, let's say about 37 million per player, which in my opinion I will take any day for those level of quality. So if we think about it, he brings a lot to this team. Virgil van Dijk is, we do accept that for now he's not been performing at his absolute best, and there's a reason for that. First of all, for someone that's put in a transfer request and he's been injured for a long time, the motivation to continue playing for a team that he's not quite really into anymore never strong. He doesn't work with strong defenders. His heart is not exactly in Southampton anymore. So he's not giving 100%. He was not giving 100%. Now he's got to prove himself to get back to the team, and he's now got to also show that he's the world-class player everyone expected him to be. And he will also now be working under Jurgen Klopp, who believes in players. So you will see a VVD that is absolutely at his optimum environment to flourish. And of course, nobody's saying that he's not going to make any mistake. Nobody's saying that no team will score against Liverpool. That's bound to happen, But I think this is an absolutely excellent buy. I think at this point it's also a good it's also good to remind all the fans that we should not encourage this new Liverpool culture that is really concerning. This culture of praise players once they make one mistake, then condemn them to absolute death. It's a culture that is really sad, and it's becoming very prevalent among Liverpool fans. If one person makes a mistake, he's the worst player in the world. And the next second, if he then plays well or he scores a goal, then all is forgiven and he's now the best player. Support these players, whether they are good or bad. You know, whether they are good, everyone is human. We all make mistakes once in a while, and we should be there and available to support our players, whatever the circumstances. And that's what I think, and that's what I believe should be the case. Very, very chuffed, very, very stoked that we have bought Virgil van Dijk. He's always wanted to join Liverpool. He's always been great about it, very clear about it. And he has, for the second time, turned down big clubs to join Liverpool. We expect much from him. We're going to back him up to the roof, and I believe that he's going to help other players pick up their courage. Now, this is also a direct response to those imbeciles that basically say club out after a couple of games. Or if we lose one game, or even if we draw a game, club out. Imbeciles, all of you. You know why I say that? Because these little things are the reason why Klopp is an invaluable acquisition by Liverpool. Which other coach will we have had that will make the likes of Virgil van Dijk want to come to Liverpool, or Salah want to come to Liverpool? Okay, that sound is showing that it's about 9 o'clock in the night, but that's fine. See, so all these are the reasons why we value Klopp. It's not just his skill, but the respect he commands in the world of football, such that players want to play for him. Back in the days, we had footballers who were so good, players wanted to join the club to play alongside these footballers. This time, we don't have that anymore. The only player that is so good that players might want to play around him is Coutinho, and his mind is not even in Liverpool that much anymore. If Coutinho says, listen, I'm happy to stay here for the next 5 years or for as long as possible, enjoy my time in this club, and I would like to invite anyone that likes to play along with me to come along, then we can then put him in the ranks of the likes of Gerrard and Suarez, who people wanted to play alongside, and Torres, But unfortunately, his mind is not in Liverpool anymore, and we accept that. Outside of him, I don't think there's any other person that everybody's crazy about joining. Maybe in the near future, Salah and Mane and Firmino might form such a team that other players might want to play alongside them. We don't know. For now, they're not yet on that level. So the only person we've got that serves as an attraction to Liverpool, apart from the club itself, is Klopp. So please, all you guys saying Klopp out, please keep quiet. You don't know the beginning of football. If you're saying Jurgen Klopp out because he drew a game against Arsenal or he drew a game against Burnley, who cares about that? Look at the long term. Okay. So anyway, I've spoken a bit more than I thought I was going to, but it's just my 2 cents and the reason as to why I believe Virgil van Dijk is worth every penny of that 75 million. Everything he brings to the team, both in terms of his own skill and quality, but also in terms of the respect other teams are going to give Liverpool. How he's going to improve the training, both as training of fellow defenders, and the attacking teams that train alongside them. The options he now provides for Liverpool by way of, who knows, we never know, allowing the likes of Matip to either play defensive midfield or Lovren to play defensive midfield, or he himself playing defensive midfield. That's an option that we've never considered before, but I think is a viable one. So that's my point. Thank you very much. And of course, the last point about Matip and Virgil van Dijk combined cost of 75 million is a win-win. So that's my 2 cents to this story. I will try and post this tonight so that anybody that's got a couple of minutes to have a listen to it. Listen and learn. Okay, this is LFC Milton Keynes coming straight at you. Sorry I'm not wearing my red cap today, but hey, I'm driving home. It's a beautiful day. Decided to just have a quick chat about it. All right, thank you very much, guys. Poop, poop, poop.